Welcome, Charles.
Thank you.
It's my absolute pleasure to invite you to this year's TechBBQ 2025 podcast in cooperation with Fireman. And I've been speaking with one of the other TechBBQ guys, Mikkel, about who would be interesting for me and for the TechBBQ this year to put in the chair next to me for this podcast.
Okay.
And we've been talking back and forth, and there was one guy who we absolutely had to get in the chair, no matter how confused he is about the time.
I think I know that
guy. And that guy happened to be you, Charles Kinga.
Thank you.
So welcome very much in the chair.
Thank you very much for welcoming me.
And what we're going to speak about is anything from a bit about you, your background, how you came to be part of the North African Summit of TechBBQ, but also about the North African Summit that is hosting here tomorrow at the TechBBQ. Will of course be over by the time we are releasing this episode. But what is it about? What are we gaining from this experiences? What is the goal and stuff like this? But before we could dig into that area,
right?
Give me a recap of your own personal story, how you came to be, how you end up in the end as part of the North African Summit of TechBBQ. Give me some background of yourself.
Okay, so I think it just to do justice to my story is to say that I came to Denmark some 25 years ago, and then I learned to operate in this culture, etc., etc. Went to university in Denmark as well. So if we say, let's fast forward to how is that related to what I'm doing today, then the point would be I went to Copenhagen University, which has, I believe, one of the only serious centers of African studies. So I took my education at the Center of African Studies, Copenhagen University. And of course, having African heritage, it also created a new platform for me to see Africa as an academic, not as an African. And that created an interest in what actually is going on in Africa at a very current pace. Not so much politics, but what is going on past the gatekeeper mechanisms. So I wrote my thesis in 2007, 2008, where I refused to move to Africa to meet people and meet the target group and do interviews, because I could see the target group was operating on Facebook. Facebook was called that time new media. Right. So I decided to do my test my ground there by doing the interviews on Facebook. On Facebook, it was called Facebook Chat then. It wasn't the Messenger. Right. And what happened to me was I realized there's a very, very big group of Africans who are very, very tech savvy. They were in the cafes. They were not doing the interviews with me from their homes. So they was in some cafe somewhere and the power would go off and then would continue 2 days later, etc., etc. And that curiosity led me to start also looking at tech and what tech is for Africans. And now we know the story. Again, fast forward, things like M-Pesa, which is the harbinger. It started before mobile pay and all that. Now, I have African studies. I have a bit of interest in tech. I have no good knowledge of technologies as such, but I'm what I call a human scientist. I can see the way humans, behave and where they are, which way they're going. I think I'm pretty good at that. But at the same time, I have this curiosity that is saying that there must be something the Africans are doing that is a little more interesting than what we are used to. The reason being, not that they are sharper or anything, but the reason being they are operating on a very unlevel playing field. It must be very tough to build companies there. Fast forward again, 4.5 months ago, the CEO of TechBBQ told me we're doing an Africa thing, the Nordic Africa Startup Summit. And here's a one-pager what do you think? I said, well, we have 4 months to TechBBQ, so let's do it. And so I was brought in. I remember telling them we got 100 days, and in 100 days, actually, you can build a startup.
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting this as a startup. We're building it from scratch. We don't know anything. We don't know anyone. We do not know who to invite. We have an idea who could be interesting to invite.
Mm.
And that's how the Nordic Africa Startup Summit came in. Of course, with a lot of support and help from our project partners, that is Novo Nordisk Foundation, Bestseller Foundation, Danish Industry, Bio-Innovation Institute, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Impact Fund Denmark. They all could see the point that, okay, we need to do something with what is going on in Africa. So that's how I came into it.
Awesome. This is a great story, really. And it's a great goal, and great challenge to build this in 4 months only.
Absolutely.
So this was the backstory of why North African Summit will be happening here at the TechBBQ, but maybe we speak a bit about what is actually the North African Summit.
Yeah.
What is the goal of this convention, inside the convention, and what results did you manage to create in these 4 months? And after this, we'll be speaking a bit about what's next for North African Summit, but also what's next in your African tech journey. But let's start with what were you able to achieve within these 4 months?
Right. What we have been able to achieve, number one, is to get a lot of partners interested.
Mm-hmm.
The partners, that means sponsors, people and companies, entities, organizations, either government or private, that say, we would like to put some money into this. We know TechBBQ as a brilliant brand. We know TechBBQ does their thing very well. We would like to partner with you to build something that has Africa in it, because we have interest in Africa. We've been there investing. We think that we can be both a helping hand, but also we can learn a lot by inviting people from Africa, directly from Africa, and inviting people who have an interest in Africa and have done business in Africa, investment and business as it is. So far, what we've also achieved is that we've been able to, or we've managed to convince all the names that you have in the tech world in Africa that are somebody. They will be here tomorrow on the 28th of August, 2025, in different panels to talk about what it is what they've achieved. So they're not coming here to pitch their companies. They're basically coming here to say, there is an opportunity. We've been able to build companies out of this opportunity that is there. Of course, it is tough. Of course, it is risky. But then we have cracked the complexity. And I think that's a very good window of opportunity for Danish investors, Danish companies, organizations that want to venture into Africa, to say it is actually true that it is possible to see growth from a startup perspective. The reason I'm saying startup perspective is that we also know that we can use development aid and put money into something, but the experience has not been that good. So it is my argument that if we can combine technology and entrepreneurship, we can create what we actually want. What we all want, whether you're in the Nordics or you're in Africa, is the creation of jobs. I believe the fastest way to do it is not really to wait for government, but maybe show government the way forward. Because we know startups and founders are very good at building stuff. So they can build from scratch. They get an idea or a problem, and they find ways to bring building blocks. And they can do it faster. So therefore, if government can support them, then we can actually create, employment and welfare, really, at a faster pace. The other reason for me saying this is that we know the continent of Africa is growing. It's not just growing by economy, it's actually growing by population. So we're going to have a lot more young people, a lot more people in Africa than we have in all continents, because it seems that in Africa, it's not stagnating. It's going the other way around. Right, exactly. So we will need to create more jobs, but we will also need to create smart jobs, because these kids are just like our kids here in Europe or in the Nordics. They're on their iPhone, they're on their iPad. They behave completely the same way. Right. But we would like to avoid, or I personally would like to avoid them, seeing the stories of kids trying to cross the Mediterranean and dying, looking for opportunity. They have enough opportunity there. They just need a structure and infrastructure. And I hope this is what the Nordic Africa Summit will portray and will project. We've also invited, high-level people. For instance, the Minister for Innovation and Digital Economy from the Republic of Nigeria. He will be here to open this summit. He is himself an entrepreneur. And of course, he is very good on stage and is a young man, if I may say that. So he knows what to tell us from that perspective, from a very government perspective. What is it that we are looking to do? And what is it, for instance, the Nigerian government doing to open up or to create platforms for growth, which are based on entrepreneurship and technology?
Yeah. And you're absolutely correct. Also, that I have to agree with you. But if we look at Africa as a continent, compared to other continents as well, Africa is actually the fastest growing middle class economy.
True.
By no measure at all.
True.
And this is huge opportunity but we don't invest enough to tap into the opportunities. And then you could say from a ultra capitalistic perspective that you take advantage of. No, but when you take advantage or use the growing middle class opportunities, you also help grow the economy, grow the opportunities for this middle class, and especially the young people who are growing up in a new middle class, have new opportunities, see world in a new way, because they have the smartphones. The world is smaller in this way to say, because of this interconnectivity across the world.
Yes.
And you have this huge growing middle class with young people in it, constantly more young people in it. Young people in these areas are still making babies.
Very true.
Not in Europe. Not in Denmark. We are going down. And so the economy based on people, based on economy will grow. So we need to it's not a matter of if you want to anymore.
No.
It's a matter of there's this huge opportunity.
Yes.
And instead of looking the other way, away from our Africa, and only use our own prejudice, that we only see corruption and we only see murder and yes, of course, South Sudan right now has a big problem. Kenya, you recently had some policeman problems, shooting down innocent people on the street.
Yes.
There is some issues, yes, but we need to attack the issues.
That's correct.
We need to go into the issues, and this is the only way we are able to build. It's not send money, look the other way.
Yes.
No, we need to engage.
Yes.
And this way, Africa will be a huge opportunity, not only for Africans, but for basically the whole world.
For the world.
And not only for Chinese people to go and mine diamonds.
No.
Out the Chinese people, don't go mine the diamonds.
Yes.
But Africa will be a huge new opportunity, new market area for Europe, for the US, for Asian markets. It doesn't matter. For the whole world, Africa is full of opportunities, and there are great countries in Africa where in the Western world, you still look at it as corruption, but it's not corruption. It's move a little smoother through life, but it's not real corruption like this.
You can say, of course, what has been seen as corruption depends on which perspective you use it.
And you must use this perspective.
Perspective, exactly. I usually say it's like the black widow. There's a very thin line between corruption and network, right? So, and this is very contextual, depending on where you are. right? If you go to Sunayulan today, there's a way they do business, right? And if you're coming from Copenhagen, you might be thinking that was not the correct way to do this.
No.
But for them, it would be.
Yes.
So I think, and I'm not saying we should look away from that. I would say we should engage, like you just said, engage, but then engage in a way of understanding that without attacking a culture. Because the worst thing you can do is attack a culture. The people will turn around and say, we don't want you here. Mm-hmm. So engage with the culture, understand the complexity and the customs and all that. Then you will come closer to what the problem could be. And then the other thing to do is to find an infrastructure. So now the tech companies, the techies that will be here tomorrow at the Nordic Africa Summit are very good at doing that. Finding ways to create solutions that can both solve problems, solve them faster, but also block for cheating. Mm-hmm. So it is actually possible using some of that technology to beat corruption. Because corruption is based on the old school. Give money, look the other way.
And ignorance.
Yes. Then again, if we create welfare for these people, let's take the policeman you mentioned in Kenya. If this policeman is well paid, well educated as a policeman, and given the amenities that he needs as a policeman to feel like a man or a woman, to feel alive, why would they even follow such an order?
Yes, absolutely.
They would not.
Absolutely.
So it's a very simple human element that we need to find and meet people there where they are. Yes.
100%. We're speaking the same language here. Good. We really in the engagement, and engagement is a form of enabling that is much more powerful than just sending money. So absolutely. So to get back to the North African Summit.
Yes. And it's Nordic African.
Not North African. Nordic African. So Nordic countries. Nordic African.
And African. Yes,
African
exactly.
Summit. Okay.
Yes.
Makes much more sense.
Okay.
So you spent 100 days, 4 months, trying to establish everything you have up to this point. Tomorrow you're launching the summit, you're hosting the summit, you have the Minister of Innovation come and speak from Nigeria. This will be a huge opportunity for anyone to listen and follow, of course. And I do believe if we have the opportunity to read up about this after the TechBBQ, absolutely go read anything you can about the Nordic African Summit. But what is for you now, not the future, but now, tomorrow, specific, the goal of this summit?
The goal of this summit tomorrow, now, and at the present is threefold. The first one is to create a community. The Nordic ecosystem meets the African ecosystem and speak the same language, because still they do. They just have not met. So making that meet and greet. The other thing would be to create space for them to sort of connect. Let's say a company that works in education technology in Denmark or interested meets an education technology startup from Nigeria or Kenya, say, wow, that's interesting. The way you're doing things, it's not the way we're doing things, but we're going the same direction. The third thing is to create a platform to collaborate, then going forward. And maybe even already now, because TechBBQ has the all event app. So it is my hope that already now people are meeting each other, talking about problems. Maybe investors are meeting these startups coming here saying, wow, what is it? How can we do? What kind of a model would fit into your world? Because maybe the American model with VCs and all that is not the one that fits into this environment. And then, create that conversation, dialogue. That's really what I would like this to show.
Yeah.
And then showcase also for the Nordics and Nordic people, Nordic companies that look, here is a showroom. This is Africa. Come and see. Come and listen. Yes.
I think I'm really, really fascinated by this because I think I really absolutely do believe it's awesome. And it will, and I hope you don't get this wrong, because there's a huge cultural package.
Oh, yes.
And a huge historic cultural package that some areas of the world are still almost paying a little bit for. The US is, you cannot speak a certain way about blah, 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 African and African history and stuff like this. But what my hope is that something like the Nordic Africa Summit and the connection between different areas of the world or the African, and integrating Africa back into the world community.
Correct.
Will allow us to stop talking about you because you are African.
Yes.
But speak with you because you are Charles.
Yes, and thank you. We will start talking about Africa, but talking with African.
You don't speak to me because I'm European or because I'm Danish. You don't say, I am a European man. No.
I met Christian.
Yes, exactly. And but now we are speaking about Africans because they are Africans.
Yes.
So I hope something like this, reintegrating Africa back into the world through the meets, will allow us to stop saying he comes from African background or he comes from this background, but allow us to say, this is Charles instead.
That's very touching, Christian, because that you see, again, that's the beauty of creating dialogue and making conversation. That angle of it wasn't actually in my head. And, so I've learned something today. So great way to put it, really.
Yeah, well, yes. It's not, I'm not sitting here trying to be the Messiah and saying, but to me, at least, it's tiring putting labels.
Yes.
On everything. And I know we like to label things, we like to put everything in boxes, but it's tiring for me that we cannot speak about something in this area of the world without starting to say that this is African.
Yes.
This is a tiring for me because we don't say this is Danish.
No, that's true. Yeah.
I'm not flawed because I'm from Northern Europe, but we speak of something Africa, it's African. And this is tying to me. So I really hope this integration will allow us to stop speaking about this.
Yes.
Actually. And instead speaking of, we have this company here. Where? Doesn't matter. But it's in Nairobi. But it doesn't matter it's in Nairobi.
Yes, true. So today I had a meeting with some of the tech startups. They were in the fintech vertical, if you want. And one of the topics, we had a meeting at the Copenhagen Fintech Hub. And one of the talks we had, or one of the conclusions we came to was, these companies are actually creating solutions to global problems.
Yeah,
maybe they're doing it locally to start with for local problems, but then they realize, said one of them, that this problem is actually global. So therefore, there's that globalization and understanding that problems are actually global. That if these problems are happening so far away in Africa, the ripple effect is going to be Asia and Europe and the United States. The same way the opposite is happening now with, let's just say, problems happening in the US, the ripple effect is Europe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in the very same way. So thank you for that pointer. That's very good.
Awesome. Well, I want to touch base just quickly on the future for the specific concrete future of the Nordic African Summit. After tomorrow, what is the plan for this group of people to work on after tomorrow?
Good. To go back to what I was talking about, the three things that I hope will happen now in the present. I also hope that after tomorrow, the conversation will continue. So it doesn't become a conference or an event, kind of a meeting where people forget each other after that. And then I do hope that our sponsors, our partners, and others can see what potential there actually is and would want to build the potential so that we have the same or something similar happening at TechBBQ in the coming year. Even better, if we can do something similar in Lagos or Nairobi or Cape Town in the shorter period, because then we come closer to the problems and the solutions. I think that would really, really be really cool if the sponsors, the ones who are here and others, can see themselves in that potential. And the reason I'm insisting on potential is because this is just a pilot project. So it's a very small part of what, the continent is capable of, or both continents are capable of. It's a very, very small part of it. So it could be next time it's not only people from Nigeria and Kenya. It could be, we say, Francophone Africa or Francafrique, like they call it. Let's explore them. What's going on that, market? Is there a market? What kind of a market is it? And what kind of products are they looking for? And what kind of products are they producing? That actually is my small mission. It's a big secret.
I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward for it to be easier to find good fufu in Copenhagen.
Oh, then you don't involve the Nigerians and the Ghanaians. They are going to start arguing about
what is fufu.
Which fufu is best.
I know. Okay, awesome, Charles. Thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
Really, a message to everyone after this. Please go look up the Nordic African Summit and what happened here at TechBBQ. If you feel this is something you can contribute with, I'm sure there are plenty of people who would like to be in touch with you. So thank you so much. I will put all the links to everything, of course, in all the descriptions. And if nothing else, have a continuous, fantastic TechBBQ 2025.
Thank you. Same to you, Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you.